Yo, what up? How's it going? And welcome back for another video. Today's video, we will be doing TSM versus CG. This is game number 4, not number 3. Okay, so we're gonna be doing it like how we did last game. I think I liked it. We're gonna actually watch draft with no audio, obviously, and just talk about it as it goes through, and then we'll actually just talk about win conditions, stuff like that, and then we're gonna watch the game at ×2 speed. So let's just get right into it. Alrighty, so we're here at the draft, and let's look at the ban. So when Clutch are on blue side so far, they banned Jace because TSM showed it in game 1 and it looked pretty good. So they banned Jace, and then when they're on red side, they switch that out for a what was the ban? Oh, they have to ban Akali because TSM will just first pick Akali. So they're able to do this because they know TSM is going to ban Akali, or Clutch will just pick it with their first pick. So let's make sure this is not on ×2. It is on ×2. So it's been on normal speed. And let's watch this draft. So these bans are pretty standard. Notably, the ban that they dropped was Skarner. So you would either expect Clutch to first pick it right here or TSM to take it away. Because they know that they're going to pick Skarner. It's just a Lira special is what it is. And of course they're going to take Sejuani. Still a positive matchup for the Skarner. The only difference is, so Skarner wins out the early game, right? He can clear the jungle so much faster. You fight him on a Spire, you're dead. Sejuani has much better ults, but at level 6, Skarner is fully activated. They love Skarner as a pick as well, as you know, when you're in Rift Herald. By the time Rift Herald spawns, you're a level 6. The only bad thing about the Skarner versus the Sejuani, in terms of you get that mid-game fight or that early game team fight, is that Skarner's not very tanky in the early game, whereas Sejuani gets her aftershock proc. So that's the only thing to think about. Alrighty, let's see what else we got. Like, of course they're picking this. You know, they could save this for the 3rd pick though. You know what I mean? They don't have to pick this right here. They could full take Rakan, Ezreal, Tahm, Kench. If they wanted to, they could take Sylas right here if they wanted Sylas. I don't think they're going to take this, but you really don't have to pick Sejuani there. Like, why are you picking Sejuani there unless you're just wanting to get a better counter pick right here? There's still a lot of power picks. You could just get like a crazy strong bottom lane. You could get Rakan. And you know Vulcan wants to play Rakan. I don't actually remember this draft at all, by the way. But you know that he wants to play Rakan. So why are you giving it to him? Okay, we're actually just taking Ezreal instead, though. Okay. You could just take Ezreal, Tahm, Kench, Rakan. I'm a huge proponent that Ezreal, Tahm, Kench is actually strong into Rakan. If the Ezreal player is decent in lane, then you can play in a way that neither Ezreal nor Tahm Kench is ever at risk of getting killed. You can play in a way that's like that. So I'd expect Tahm Kench right here. There we go. They're just going to get their 1-3-1 setup again. Easy win. Easy clap. It's weird. It's weird, though. Like, the Sejuani first pick makes no sense. They do get Rakan, but this is actually a winning matchup in the Rakan. Maybe she was just taking Xayah Morgana. I don't know. No, either way it doesn't. Either way it doesn't. Like, the reason why it's so bad, I'll elaborate on the reason why. It's not that it's so bad, but the reason why Ezreal, Tahm Kench, because Tahm Kench can play just so defensively in lane, and Ezreal can play so offensively. The only way you ever die in this lane is if somehow you just stand on feathers, right? And then Rakan can follow up. But if Rakan ever dashes to Ezreal, so if Rakan ever dashes to Ezreal, then Ezreal just dashes to Tahm Kench. And then you get the Guardian proc, or whether or not you take Guardian or whatever, but like then you're safe. And then if like you full commit after that, like you flash on them now with your ultimate, then Tahm Kench just eats Ezreal, then he pops out on the other side. Like there's no threat on this lane because of the way Tahm Kench and Ezreal can position in lane. And if you jump on the Tahm Kench, one, you should actually never be able to jump on the Tahm Kench. So Rakan's always seen as like a counter because Tahm Kench has to play close enough to his support that you can either jump onto both of them or you jump on the Tahm Kench, you layer the feathers. Tahm Kench is easy kill. But with Ezreal Tahm Kench, you can position in a way to where Tahm Kench is never in range of Rakan, except for when he comes up to grab the melees, or I mean grab his support item procs. God damn it, Targon's. Jesus, Relic Shield. Except for when he comes up to do that, but you can play in such a way to where that even that's safe. So that's why I'm a big proponent of this. Like, that this lane matchup is actually so good. So, and they've already shown that they can play it. So maybe you just take Ezreal, Tahm, Kench. But it's so weird you even take Sejuani right here when you can just take Sejuani right here. That's what's weird to me. But overall, like, this is a good lane matchup. Like, a lot of people think this isn't a good lane matchup. It is a good lane matchup. As long as your Ezreal player is competent at the pick and lane, then it's a good it's actually a good matchup. And I'll fight anybody who doesn't think this is a good lane matchup. Just watch Deft play. Obviously, Deft is like maybe the best AD carry in the world, but just literally just watch him play the pick. Qiyana ban makes sense. Neither mid laner is shown. You can get counter pick for top lane this time. So if Sylas doesn't get banned right here, you would imagine Sylas would get picked right here. Might just go back to banning Corki Azir. I think maybe Azir would be difficult to play here. You wouldn't be able to answer much in the side lane. You could like go full siege, maybe get a Karma. Maybe like if you had Azir, you could like Karma Azir and you just go like full siege with the Karma. It's hard though. So TSM really need a way that they can match 1-3-1. So they ban out the Irelia, which makes sense. They might pick Aatrox here, which I think is bad. Aatrox has so many counters, dude. Ban out Camille. Broken Blade's one of the only players who will actually play Camille. What does that tell you, though? Might be playing Kennen over here, maybe. So take the Aatrox. There's still a lot of picks that are good in the Aatrox left. I really think Aatrox is so overrated. And you know Clutch wants to 1-3-1. They have Ezreal, Tahm, Kench, so that's the best 1-3-1 setup. Skarner plays great, picking off in side lane, picking off in mid lane. Aatrox is so abusable in the side lane and in lane. But TSM is really picking for, you know, stomping team fights. So Gnar has a good matchup in the Aatrox. It's not a slamming matchup, but Huni's very good on the pick, so it could be a slamming matchup. It's very good. It's a good matchup for Gnar though. You can jump out of the chains. You just sit there and play range. Even when you're Mega Gnar, you do fine in the Aatrox. It's really about the mini Gnar, but it's just a range top laner versus a melee top laner. Essentially, that's what's happening. And the Sylas, like why don't you take Sylas here? You know, like why not take Sylas here? You have decent ults. You can take Aftershock and grab the Skarner ult. You can take this right here. If they end up still taking the Gnar, if they take Aatrox, it's a bad ultimate for you. But if they take Aatrox, then you can counterpick right here. There's not really great picks into the Sylas. And you're not going to give Aatrox to Bjergsen. Aatrox does great in the Sylas, or does fine in the Sylas, really. Sylas doesn't want his ultimate. If they have the ability to flex that pick, that'd be cool. He's not picking Zed. Just flashing it. Zed would be really not bad, actually. So they take Azir. So they end up taking Azir. So Azir has a really good matchup in lane, the Sylas. So this is full team fight composition. Okay. I really would have liked Sylas right there, and then pick the Aatrox if it's still left. If Huni picks Aatrox and you pick an Aatrox counter. I really think they pick Aatrox there because Camille was banned. Camille's an Aatrox counter. And so they were hoping that TSM would pick Sylas, maybe, and they take the Aatrox. But there's a lot of Aatrox. Like, they could have played Jax here. And Jax combo solo Sejuani. I really don't think you have to take the Aatrox. I think Aatrox is so overrated, dude. I'm so glad he got nerfed so people will stop just blind picking him. Like, is Aatrox really worth losing your entire early game for? Like, that's what I always think about for Aatrox. Is it really that valuable in team fights? Has it really been working out that well? Unless you're like a really stellar Aatrox player. Broken Blade's a fine Aatrox player. So, I don't know. I'm flaming a little bit, but It's mainly just about the Aatrox thing. Like I have a personal problem with Aatrox. Anyways, let's just talk about these team compositions. Okay, you have some 1-3-1 options here again. Huni will win out in the side lane for the majority of the game. You can't just get to a position where you're slamming, and but it does come into a point in the game where Aatrox gets to fight you back. There we go. We have a level 6 jungler who is superior to Sejuani in the early game in the sense of he's going to farm his jungle way faster, and he should match up. If you ever fight him in the jungle, he'll win. But the 2v2 with top lane, if Broken Blade's not getting chipped down so much, you do have to favor Sejuani. Aatrox have a really, really good combo. That's another reason why they're prioritizing it, but they're not playing to it at all, and Huni's just been slamming the lane, so I don't know. Cool, but level 6, you have to favor anything they got going on top side. As I said before, I've talked about the matchup for bottom lane so much. If the Ezreal player is competent in playing the lane correctly, it is actually so hard to do anything against Ezreal, and then he has the best mid prio in the game. So you get him mid lane. Xayah is a champion that can match in mid lane priority and safety to a certain degree. So Xayah is so much better than Lucian for this matchup. So there's that. But anyways, they have a decent 1-3-1 setup. They have a good 1-3-1 setup, a good team fight setup. His team, if it's the same thing, if this team gets too far ahead, it's very hard. It's very hard to get back into the game as TSM because of the Tahm Kench pick. It's hard to move around the jungle and get picks. If Clutch Gaming gets ahead, they set the game on a timer because they can play to their side lane strengths, and it sets up TSM in another way that they only have one play in the game, and that's just a team fight. If Clutch get ahead. Let's look over at TSM's composition. So they lose out in the 1v1, went out in the 2v2, but they haven't been playing to it. So, and Huni's been chunking Aatrox way too much. So the only benefit for the Aatrox in this matchup right here is this is a level 6 jungler. So at least you're probably not going to get dove. So there's that. And this isn't like a hard slamming matchup, but it is definitely a matchup that is favored for the Gnar, especially in the early laning phase. Okay, one benefit is you should have prio in mid. So Sylas has almost no kill threat on the Azir in the early game unless you get jungle attention, but you probably won't because Skarner's just going to be farming. So this does make it an easier game for Spica to navigate, to not get denied a whole lot like it was, in game 1 he got denied so much with the Sylas jungle. This bottom lane, Xayah can get priority after first back if she wants to. Ezreal should have prio in lane, at least in the early laning phase, but after first back and first item, Xayah can get prio, but you have almost no kill threat. And so you would imagine Sejuani would be spending her time in the top side, but it's really hard to even make plays happen in the early game. So it's really hard to even make plays happen in the early game. Gnar can push and has an easy way to get out. Sylas shouldn't be taking that aggressive trades into the Azir in the first place, should just be farming up. And then level 6, this team becomes really activated. So it is difficult for TSM to make plays in the early game. And then level 6, it's really going to come down to the early game team fight that's going to happen. As I said before, even though Skarner gets the level 6 ultimate, and that's really impactful for the fight, he's not that tanky. So So this early game fight could definitely go in favor of TSM. Because Clutch is going to want to take that fight around the Rift Heralds. That'll be really interesting what happens with that early fight. I think it's hard for TSM to even make plays in the early game based off the draft and based off of what the players I know are going to want to do and their tendencies. It's actually difficult for TSM to make something of this draft in the early game, but this is the face roll team fighting comp. Clutch is going to want to take that team fight around the Rift Herald. Definitely winnable with this team. You get ahead with this team. You can just, play around objectives, face roll into the enemy and win the game, and you can get prio on mid. Even though Ezreal is the best mid prio champion, if this comp's ahead, you break the mid structure, put the Azir tower, rotate over to the objective. So the Azir is actually really fine here. So it really, for TSM, comes a lot down to what happens in the first team fight of the game. And if Clutch Gaming wins that, they have so much more options than TSM in this game. So I favor Clutch's draft, but TSM can definitely win this game. But it really comes down to that first real fight around the Rift Herald for them. All right, let's get right into it. We're zooming. Trying to find my chocolate milk. I gotta drink this. Trying to go on a fast tomorrow. We're zooming. I was looking at these spires. Interesting. Alright, so they don't know where Lira started, but you would have to imagine Lira starts on bottom side. He is Skarner. He doesn't benefit much from starting on blue buff. And Aatrox leashed, I believe. If Aatrox doesn't leash, it is so hard for Spica to match and farm, but Skarner farms so fast. Skarner might just go for a recall, get his Predator boots, and go topside. Let's see. Let's see what he actually does. It's very important to see what he actually does. Okay. It would have been really interesting if he based right there, got his Predator boots, and actually looked for a dive. That would have been very interesting. Seems like it's hard to do. But that would have been like the ultimate, like, alright, sit down. It's definitely hard to do, though. He's just going to path up this direction. Slightly inefficient because you have to go down then back up, but it's fine. He knows Sejuani started on top side, so he knows Sejuani is going to path towards bottom side because he wants to do Krug's clear. It wouldn't make sense for him to do Krug's clear and just hang out and wait for Scuttle Crab to start. So they do just trade sides in the map. They farm at similar speeds because Sejuani got a leash and Lira went for slightly inefficient path, but the path was mainly just to make sure he gets on top side. And also he didn't want them to know where he started, but since Sejuani was able to get that, since Sejuani was able to get the bot scuttle, then you should know where they started. Broken Blade actually gets a really good trade, but it doesn't. It's probably not going to matter because Huni can just back and TP back. He is winning in terms of the farm for sure. Let's see. Cody Sun just TP'd back to lane. Then Lira looks for a gank bottom side. This is the side of the map Lira wants to be on. He can get all of these. They're on a back timing. It'd be really interesting if Lira tried to sneak a dragon here. Because they do have Prio mid, but Sylas has to back, so it doesn't seem likely. You see Rakan just walking down in there just to make sure. Just to make sure nothing, no weird shit was happening. Okay, so they do have vision now if Lira wants to end up sneaking a dragon. They've been doing that a lot too. But as I said, after first back, it's really easy for Xayah to get Prio in lane. Clock tower. See, they have the pushing bottom lane, that's why they went for this play. But it is warded out. It is warded out by Clutch. Clutch has so much poke and stuff like that too. Gnar comes in, play right here. That was just a roam play based off of push, I believe. That wasn't a TP. That was a TP by Broken Blade just to make sure nothing happens to Bjergsen. That's fine. Nice. But this is also what the Huni play, right? He wants to, every single time there's a dragon up, he wants to just get to mid lane so that they can pressure for dragon. Cody Sun is slightly low on mana. Oh, but Lira's level 6. You get Zven. There's a TP out from Bjergsen. This is every game, bro. Every game. As soon as there's as soon as there's a thought for dragon, then Huni cheats over. But now Cody Sun's out of mana, so definitely could get dragon here. That's the idea. Does get a little bit scary. It's getting a little bit scary. All right, Huni's not gonna transform. Damonte is gonna come in. He doesn't have ultimate. Cody Sun really doesn't have a lot of mana. I don't know if Bjergsen has his shuffle. They do have a lot of disengage. That's why it's too bad. Zven does end up dying for it. Cody Sun does have to recall. So they don't lose a whole lot for that. They are losing a lot of minions. that are denying. Actually, no, sorry, I was looking at the minions wrong. My bad. They're just gonna go ahead and lane swap. They're gonna go ahead and do the lane swap because the next objective is up in a minute. It's Rift Herald. It's gonna be a standard every single. Oh my god, I didn't move my camera. Oh fuck, I didn't move my camera. Fuck, bro. I do that all the time, bro. Sorry. That's why I need someone chatting to me. Fuck, bro, I forgot to move my camera. Big yikes. Oh, dude, I'm so sad. I hate when I do that. Alright, now both teams are just in position around top side. Now this is the really important fight for both team, and it's especially important for TSM. It's so important for TSM. Because if they don't win this fight and they get really far behind off this fight, they're already behind in the game. If they get really far behind from this fight, it's so hard to get back into the game. I mean, there's ways, like you could do those collapse plays before the enemy team has Baron threat, but it's so much easier to play out. So they don't end up taking the fight because they are at a state in the game where they're pretty far behind. That's okay. They should lose a lot for this, though. So they should end up losing a lot for this, but it really comes down to that first fight. And if they're able to minimize this damage from this Rift Herald, but they're a little far behind now. And Ezreal's about to be fully unleashed. See where Lira wants to drop that for the Ezreal. Alright, Rift Herald's dropped. Ezreal's about to get a butt ton of gold. Oh, if they give him solo gold, that'd be insane. They're actually going to share it. That's okay too. They want to make sure Ezreal's able to get out. And that's so good, man. Tragedy strikes on the Rift. And you see Huni, you see what Huni's doing right now? So Huni gives over a plate and just takes the Krugs, but he's really just doing that so that TSM can't have a response play because they don't know where they are. Tragedy strikes on the Rift. Okay. Alright, now CG's comp's in a good spot. TSM has to find a fight here. If not, as I said, their options are pretty limited the later the game goes. Even though they're, you look at their comp and they scale well, but their options with their team comp isn't actually a whole lot. Ah. Nice. You get both dragons, but one ocean's not going to matter all that much if you're down 5k gold, you know? And they're down almost 4k, but yeah, and they're moving their Ezreal down bottom side to try to get this tower. If Ezreal can get this tower too, then you just take him mid, and then like you're fully in the 1-3-1 setup. So they just want to pressure on bottom side to get Ezreal more gold is what they're doing right now. And then soon, you'd have to think Ezreal moves into the mid lane. If you're not able to break this tower soon, just go ahead and move your Ezreal mid. There's no objective on the side lanes right now, so if they don't get this tower in the next push, he would have to think they want to take him mid. Right? Or no? Okay, looking for a side lane play on the Broken Blade. Broken Blade actually gets a kill off this. That was big yikes. That was getting caught by the Gnar. Nice. Alright, good play by TSM. They burn a bunch of TPs. This is why you need Ezreal mid, by the way. Like, this is why you need Ezreal mid so he can stop this from happening and not let this happen to him. Wow, TSM just gets all the plays cross map. Alright, TSM's back in the game, baby. We's back in it. Never mind. I'm just kidding. So, there's a little bit of getting back, but the Clutch is still at advantage in the game, and they can actually enact their 1-3-1 setup. Their lane assignments were not very good right there. Because, like, Ezreal and Tahm should be able to stop this, right? But Ezreal and Tahm are trying to get a tower bottom. And they get out of position. play the lane wrong, and Bjergsen gets behind them. Okay. All right, we just get a pick off. This is what you do with Skarner. You get pickoffs. Broken Blade TPs into nothing, and now we can go to Infernals in 30 seconds. So we're gonna recall the people who need a recall. Cody Sun can stay mid. He still has TP, so if he needs a recall in a second, he can. They're gonna lose their mid structure based off of that recall they did, but they needed a recall so they could be strong for Infernal. Is the idea. So that's the power of Azir, though, is if you take that mid tower, it gets you full priority on mid lane because the Sun turret. But Clutch is in a really good spot, and they just got a recall off, so they just spent all their gold, except for Cody Sun, but Cody Sun's fine. Yep, and they can't fight them. I mean, it was a good play by TSM to move in, but even better response by CG. They preemptively recalled, so they'd be ready for this. They do lose their structure for it, but they just know that if they could just get to the Infernal Drake after spending their gold, then they're gonna win the fight. And TSM knows it too. It was like good setup from TSM, but Clutch actually made the correct play there. It's really hard for TSM to win. They do have to find, they have to find their fights. But CG can play around the side lanes, and now the Ezreal Tahm Kench is fully unleashed. It should have been unleashed earlier, and TSM shouldn't have got those picks. But it's like so hard to get those picks. You have to get 4 members into a spot where CG can just play aggressive the entire time, and they can instantly get 4 members somewhere. You have to be able to like cheat the map to get your members in the correct spot. But CG, they can just stay mid and get wherever they want because they can move 2 members wherever they want at any time and get full mid prio at the same time. See, look, Ezreal Tahm Kench is coming in. But Huni does die a little early, so... Okay. Okay. Alright, TSM. That's what I'm saying. They have to get all their members down there, but CG can kind of cheat. Huni's dying a little fast. Maybe if they play those fights a little better. But you see the idea is that like TSM had to actually maneuver around the map to get their members there, where CG just teleported there instantly. Those are the plays TSM has to look for. Hey, worked out for TSM. But as I said, the later the game goes, the harder it is to pull those plays off. That's how 1-3-1 composition works. Azir is a decent answer because you can get you can cheat mid prio. All right, is this a replay? No. They still have Tahm Kench ult. Let's wait for Tahm Kench 11, baby. Actually, they changed that ult. It's kind of the first ult is stronger now. Not stronger, but it's like the power is moved into the first ult, I believe, right? I think that's how they balanced it. Or maybe the other way around. I really don't remember. The champion gets changed every patch. Alright, you're not going to win the poke war. So they're poking from out of vision right now. Okay, that's power of Azir, baby. So actually good positioning by TSM. Rakan gets CC'd. Oof. Oof. Alright, win for TSM. That's how you position. But they do lose a second Infernal. I mean, that was good positioning to get that tower. That's what you do with Azir. Why is Azir so strong? Losing on this fight makes it to where you lose this Infernal. A double Infernal over the CG. Actually, I have to favor CG with that one, though. So I'm saying, like, dude, CG has so many more options. TSM has to, like, find these fights, find these positions. Where CG's comp can just kind of just play the game. And CG is really hard to draft against. Like, I thought it was a little overblown that they're hard to draft against, but having to ban Rumble, I think you just don't ban Rumble. If you're a team that can early pick Qiyana, I think you just ban Rumble and take the Qiyana. Yep, Tahm Kench, balanced. Hey, alright. Bjergsen got his damage off. So that fight went not good. Bjergsen got his damage off, but Tahm Kench was being balanced and got everybody to the top lane. Alright. Let's see. Bjergsen has TP. It's now the point in the game where if somebody gets a team fight win, you actually get the Baron. So this is really important. TSM's done a good job of staying in the game, and this next couple of minutes is really pivotal. Pivotal. If TSM get a team fight win here, and they get the Baron, they're in control of the game. But if CG get like TSM just gets in control of the game, and then a good spot to win the game. But if TSM or if CG wins this next fight, then CG straight up win the game. They might not win on that push, but the game's over. What game is this? Game 5? Oh, it's game 4. Okay. I don't know what they're highlighting. They're just highlighting KDAs. I don't know. Next one's an Ocean. It's nice to deny double Ocean. Triple Ocean is like half of a Warmogs on every player. It is nice to deny double Ocean. So they're positioning around that. They're mainly looking, CG's mainly looking to just like kind of sneak the Ocean. Not really full commit, because if you full commit, it is late enough in the game that TSM can full commit to the Baron and maybe get it. So they can't full commit to the Ocean, they have to just cheat it. Now TSM is moving over towards the Baron, but this is mainly a vision play, but what sucks about this is they're actually going to go for it. Yeah, the reason why they have to go for it right here is because if they go to try to make a vision play here, they have to base soon because they don't have any pinks. So if they go to make a vision play right here and they clear this out and they drop some vision, they're going to have to base to get their own pinks. Because if they don't, then what's going to happen is CG will come in here and clear their vision and they can start the Baron. So that's why they're starting Baron here. It's a little late since you knew that they were cheating Ocean. And they did that based off of the Azir Tower as well. But what's tough right here, and this looks really silly, it's like what I said, if they base right here, they can't get vision because they don't have any pinks in their inventory, I don't believe. I don't think I saw any pinks in their inventory. So if they base right here, they lose Baron. So they're just going all in right here, but Spica gets so low. CG just comes in. And now it's their Baron. But TSM kind of had to go for that, but it was like also like very unlikely it works. This game is really should be over. Honestly, this game is pretty boom. Ezreal is balanced. Alright, they can do any lane allocation they want to. They do 1-3-1, the TSM has a hard force on a side lane. Give vision of a quadrant that they want, then hard force. That's what they're trying to do right now. I have no idea what CG's doing in the jungle. I don't know what they're doing. Oh well, they win the fight either way. Seems like they could just siege. Essentially, I mean, if they're just fighting over vision, that's fine actually. Because TSM's way in the game is they like take control over like this portion of a jungle, and then they collapse on the side laner is the only way that they stay in the game. So that's fine. That's fine actually. This game's pretty much over, right? Yeah, another game lost in draft, honestly. I mean, there's ways for TSM's draft to win, but they just don't have as much options. Look at this ref, he's feeling it for him. He's like, oh gosh. TSM fan over here. Okay, hey, that's going to be it for game 4. I'm really sorry the camera was in the middle of the goddamn screen, dude. I'm really sorry about that. I just keep messing up. That's my bad. Hey, thanks so much for watching this video. We're going to be doing game 5 right after this one. It's going to be insane. We don't know what happened. I'm just kidding. I know what happened. I don't remember the game at all, though. I don't remember the draft at all. I don't remember that shit. Enough time has passed. It's been like 2 weeks. Anyways, okay. Well, we'll see you on the next video. Bye-bye. Bye. Bye.